How do luggage thieves actually choose which bags to steal? And more importantly, why do some bags get taken in seconds while others are completely ignored? There are small signals on your luggage right now that quietly answer that question. And the uncomfortable truth is, most of those signals are things you added yourself, thinking they make your bags safer. At Chicago O'Hare, a man walked up to baggage claim, picked up a suitcase and walked out. No rush, no panic. It wasn't his bag, and no one stopped him because nothing looked wrong. This could happen to you. So in this video, we're breaking down exactly how checked luggage thieves choose their targets, the signals they look for, the small mistakes that put your bag at risk, and the specific moments where your luggage becomes the easiest choice in the entire airport. And as we go through this, you'll start noticing things you've done yourself without even realizing what they signal. Before we go further, like and subscribe for simple, useful travel tips like this, especially if you want to avoid problems most travelers only realize after it happens. 12. The brand new target effect. A suitcase that looks brand new can quietly stand out more than you expect. Clean surface, no scratches, no travel marks. It signals something without saying a word. Now imagine two bags moving along the carousel. One has visible wear from past trips. The other looks like it was just taken out of the box. Which one feels more valuable at a glance? That quick impression matters more than people realize. A newer bag suggests recent spending and sometimes higher value belongings inside. It removes uncertainty. Even if nothing valuable is inside, perception still does the work. In busy airports, people don't analyze deeply. They rely on fast visual cues. A spotless bag becomes easier to notice, easier to remember, and easier to prioritize. It doesn't blend in naturally. It quietly rises above everything else without trying. That's what creates risk. Something that feels new often feels worth attention, and once attention starts, decisions follow quickly behind. And that's the part most people don't notice. The bag hasn't done anything wrong, but it already feels more important than the rest. 11. You just told them it matters. The way you handle your luggage can reveal more than the bag itself. Small actions like adjusting it repeatedly, keeping it close at all times, or checking it more often than necessary can signal importance. Now, picture two travelers standing near the carousel. One casually sets their bag down and looks around. The other keeps repositioning it, holding it tightly and watching it closely. Without saying anything, one of them has already sent a message. Behavior creates perception instantly. When something is treated carefully, it looks valuable. That perception forms quickly and doesn't need proof. Even simple habits like gripping the handle tightly or glancing back at your bag again and again can make it stand out. It's not about what you're carrying, it's about how you act around it. Once attention shifts to you, the bag becomes secondary. The connection is already made, and once that connection exists, the rest becomes easy to follow. Think about how you act with something expensive at home. You naturally check on it more. That same behavior shows up here too, just in public. 10. The invisible bag problem. Plain, common luggage feels like the safest choice. Neutral colors, standard shapes, nothing flashy. It blends in with everything else around it, but that's exactly where the problem begins. When dozens of bags look the same, recognition disappears completely. Now imagine a crowded baggage claim, suitcases moving in a loop, one after another, nearly identical. Someone reaches down, picks one up, and walks away. Nothing looks unusual. It feels like a simple mistake. That's the advantage of blending in too well. When everything looks the same, actions become harder to question. A bag without identity becomes interchangeable. And when something is interchangeable, it becomes easier to take without drawing attention. The intention may not even be clear to people watching. It just looks normal. That's what creates risk. A bag that disappears into the crowd also disappears from awareness. And in an airport, once awareness is gone, control quietly disappears with it. And once everything starts looking the same, it becomes surprisingly easy for the wrong bag to leave with the right person. 9. No identity, no resistance. A suitcase without any distinguishing feature becomes just another object in motion. No sticker, no strap, no visible marker, nothing that makes it stand out at a glance. Now think about this for a moment. If someone asked you to describe your bag quickly, could you? Most people hesitate, and that hesitation matters. When something is difficult to describe, it becomes difficult to question. It removes friction from the situation entirely. A bag with identity creates pause. A bag without identity moves freely through the system. Even a small detail, a ribbon, a colored tag, or a simple mark can change how quickly it's recognized. Without that, the suitcase blends into the background completely. It becomes forgettable. And when something is forgettable, it becomes easier to overlook. That's where risk quietly builds. Not through obvious mistakes, but through something much simpler, a lack of distinction. If you had to point your bag out from across the room right now, would you spot it instantly? Or would you hesitate for a second? That hesitation matters more than people think. 8. The 2-minute window. Leaving your luggage unattended for even a short time can change everything. A quick step away feels harmless. Just a minute, just a short moment. But that moment quietly removes the connection between you and your bag. Now it becomes an object without an owner. Imagine a suitcase sitting still while people move around it. No one claims it. No one watches it. It simply exists there. That's where opportunity begins. It doesn't require long periods of time. It only requires uncertainty. A bag without a visible owner creates less hesitation. There's no interaction, no immediate risk, no reason to stop. Just a small window where nothing ties it back to you. And that's all it takes. Even brief absences can create that gap. Staying close to your belongings keeps that connection visible and clear. The moment you step away, even briefly, you remove that clarity. And once that clarity disappears, hesitation disappears with it. It doesn't feel like long to you, but in a busy airport, a lot can happen in 2 minutes. 7. The early spin moment. When luggage first arrives on the carousel, the area is often quieter than most people expect. Many passengers are still walking from the gate, so fewer people are around to observe what's happening. A bag appears, begins to move, and circles slowly without being claimed. That moment creates exposure immediately. It's not about how long it stays there. It's about the lack of attention surrounding it. Fewer people means fewer eyes watching, and fewer eyes reduce hesitation. A bag moving alone in that early stage becomes visible without being connected to anyone. It creates a subtle signal, unclaimed, even if only for a short time. That signal doesn't need to last long. Even a brief moment can change how it's perceived. Being present when your luggage arrives removes that gap completely. It keeps the connection between you and your bag clear from the start. Without that connection, even a short delay can quietly increase risk. So even though your bag just arrived, for a short moment, it's already on its own. 6. The endless loop effect. A suitcase that keeps circling the carousel without being picked up begins to stand out in a different way, not because of how it looks, but because of how long it has been there. It appears once, then again, then again. Each pass increases visibility. People start to notice it without even realizing why. It becomes familiar. And familiarity draws attention naturally. A bag that hasn't been claimed starts to feel different from the others. It suggests something unusual, even if only temporarily. That perception matters more than people think. The longer it stays in motion without an owner nearby, the more it is observed. And once it is observed, it is quietly evaluated. Time creates awareness. Awareness changes perception. Picking up your luggage quickly reduces that visibility and keeps the connection between you and your bag clear. The longer it circles, the more it separates from you. The more times it comes around, the more it stops being just another bag. 5. The too early drop-off. Checking your bag in too early increases the amount of time it spends outside your control. From the moment it leaves your hands, it begins moving through multiple stages before reaching its destination. Each stage adds exposure. More time means more handling, more movement, and more visibility along the way. While most of this process is routine, the extended duration still matters. A shorter timeline limits exposure naturally. A longer timeline increases it without you noticing. This is not about what will happen, but about what could happen over time. And possibility grows with time. The longer something exists outside your control, the more opportunities it has to be noticed. Keeping that window as short as possible helps reduce unnecessary exposure. It doesn't eliminate risk completely, but it lowers it in a simple, practical way. Small timing decisions can quietly influence how long your bag stays visible in the system. But even if timing is perfect, there's still something on your bag that gives away more than you think. 4. Your tag says too much. A luggage tag is meant to help identify your bag, but when too much information is visible, it can reveal more than intended. Names, phone numbers, and sometimes even addresses are often displayed openly on the outside. In a public environment, this information can be seen instantly by anyone passing by. It turns a simple identifier into a quiet source of personal details. Even a quick glance can provide more information than expected. Now imagine your bag sitting still for a moment while people move around it. The tag shifts slightly, visible from the side. Someone notices it briefly, reads enough, and keeps walking. Nothing unusual happens. But something has already changed. That small moment adds information to the situation. Limiting what is visible on the outside helps reduce that exposure while still keeping the tag useful for identification. A covered tag or inward-facing details can make a simple but important difference over time. A tag swings slightly, someone looks, and now they know more than before. 3. The high-value signal. Premium luggage stands out almost immediately in a crowded environment. Brand, finish, and overall design can all suggest higher value without needing any explanation. That perception forms quickly and removes uncertainty. Instead of guessing which bag might be worth attention, appearance provides a clear signal. In fast-moving environments, that kind of clarity matters. Decisions are made in seconds, not minutes. A high-end bag becomes easier to prioritize simply because it looks valuable. Even if nothing expensive is inside, the assumption has already been created. Now picture several bags moving together. Most appear standard, but one looks noticeably refined and polished. It naturally draws the eye without effort. That attention alone can change how it is viewed compared to others. It doesn't need to prove anything. It only needs to suggest value, and once that suggestion exists, it becomes enough to influence decisions quietly in the background. But one item sends this signal even louder than anything else. 2. The lock that backfires. A lock feels like protection, but it also sends a message that most people don't think about. It suggests there is something inside worth protecting. That becomes the signal, not safety, value. When a bag has no lock, it appears ordinary. When it has one, it quietly stands out. That difference matters in fast-moving environments, and many of these locks are not as strong as people believe. They are designed for access by security, not resistance against determined attempts. This creates an unexpected situation. The bag appears valuable, but it is not especially difficult to open. That combination matters more than people realize. It increases attention without significantly increasing difficulty. Now the bag moves higher in priority compared to others nearby. It doesn't need to prove what's inside. The lock already suggests it. And in environments where decisions are made quickly, that suggestion becomes enough to influence choices without hesitation. High value, low resistance. That's what stands out. 1. The easy choice. At the end of the day, the simplest option becomes the most likely choice. A bag that is easy to pick up, easy to carry, and easy to explain naturally stands out in a different way. Not because it attracts attention, but because it avoids resistance completely. When multiple options are available, the one that creates the least difficulty becomes the easiest decision. That is how fast environments work. Choices are not always based on value alone, but on how simple the action feels in the moment. Now imagine several bags moving together, each with different features. One requires more effort, more explanation, or more attention. Another requires almost none. The difference becomes clear instantly. The easier option quietly becomes the preferred one. It does not draw attention. It simply avoids obstacles. And when obstacles disappear, decisions happen faster. That is what brings everything together in a way most people never notice. It's not just one mistake. It's the small signals adding up over time. The way your bag looks, how you handle it, even when you step away, it all matters. Once you start noticing these patterns, you see the airport very differently. And from that point on, you stop being the easy choice.